Hi, thank you so much for being here for another episode of my Hope series, Help One Person Every Day. So, with this pandemic, and that started, well, actually, it started in 2019, but with all the kids being home and all the homeschooling I've had to do, I was not really prepared. Like my business was not prepared. I thought, because I'm like so big on automation, I thought I had everything streamlined and everything ready to go. Let a pandemic happen to you, and you'll see how ready you are. Let me tell you, because I have been dealing with stress up the wazoo, and I'm so excited about this conversation that we're going to have today because I want to learn, and for my viewers out there, if you want to learn how to better manage that and to boost your energy, especially when it comes to your business, this is a conversation right here because today I'm excited that I get to talk with Dr. Brooke Sheehan. And let me just tell you so much about this fabulous woman, and you're going to love her as much as I do. So, she is a doctor, entrepreneur, and body whisperer. Like, wow. Dr. Brooke Sheehan is a chiropractor extraordinaire at Cardiff Health and Wellness, the go-to place for entrepreneurs, high achievers, and support staff to optimize their life as it relates to physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental well-being. As an entrepreneur, she knows firsthand the demands of business and the toll it can take on the body, right? She has dedicated herself to the work of supporting those world changers become the best version of themselves, and so that they can outwork and outperform their competition for the long term with the level of energy and focus they started with. When Brooke is not working with patients or building an app company, my goodness, I have to talk to this lady. She enjoys reading, writing, and exploring new areas in her local community. I have to like talk to you. Sound like Wonder Woman. Welcome, Brooke, Dr. Brooke.
Thank you so much, April. Appreciate the opportunity to be here and share with you. So yeah, that's my story. To quickly go back to the app really quick, Cup O Sugar is an app that my best friend and I co-founded together that helps bring communities together around sharing and requesting food ingredients. So that's kind of like where my entrepreneurial journey started. That happened while I was in grad school, actually, while I was getting my chiropractic degree. So I have a passion for entrepreneurship as well as, overall health in the areas that you said, physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional, because those are four pillars of absolute health that we need to have in order to be able to go after the financial dreams and do what we do as entrepreneurs and as business people. So,
Yeah, so you're
yeah,
practicing as a doctor now?
yes, yes.
Oh my goodness, and you're doing all this as well. Yeah, so you're definitely the person to talk about uh boosting energy.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
absolutely.
What type of clients do you typically work with? Are they entrepreneurs or are they other types of people?
So we do have the practice is a family practice. We do see a lot of people that come in with chronic conditions and that kind of stuff, but my focus is more with the entrepreneurs and those people who, are really, really working hard to build a dream and they see the vision for their family, they see the vision for a better world, and they're really driven by this desire for high impact, right? They're not okay with the 9 to 5, sit behind the desk, just go home on the weekends, have your beer, whatever. They want more. And so because my heart is there and because I am there and I know what it's like I'm working with a population to help really build them up so that we don't have to experience things like, like so sad, but things Steve Jobs passing away at such a young age. He was very dedicated and very driven to seeing Apple get to the level that it did and all of the other projects that he was a part of. But unfortunately, his health took a really bad turn. And a lot of times, what we see is people don't really start to take their health seriously until they actually have a serious concern or something serious is happening. And one of the things that the reason why I call myself a body whisperer is the type of work that I do in our practice is, I don't want to say energy work because I don't want to turn people off and think it's woo-woo. But what I do is the body has its own language. Okay, that's a lot of people don't quite understand that, but the body has its own language, and I speak the language of the body, not body language, but the language of the body. So, Aprille, your body will send off a different sort of language than my body would. And so, when you're in the office lying on the table, the treatment protocol for you is going to be different than it would be for a different patient. And so, we really use physical modalities like chiropractic and different physiotherapy tools to physically address the patient, but there might be chemical imbalances, there could be hormonal imbalances, there could be emotional stressors that is causing stress on the system. You're stressed out about something, you're thinking about that all the time, and it causes like an ulcer in your stomach or something, like, not a really great example, but that's kind of how, when I talk about body whispering, we approach healthcare in a way that's very unique to you so that you can optimize, you can increase your energy, you can increase your focus, so you can go and do what you need to do.
Wow. So, yeah. So, can you kind of take us back, like where it all began? Like, tell us your story. Like, how did you get to where you are now on this journey?
Absolutely. So, about, I want to say about 6 or 7 years ago, I met a doctor here in San Diego, where I'm from, who did this type of work. And this was prior to my chiropractic days. I was working for, a big CEO as his accountant, doing all the reporting and that kind of stuff, and seeing this doctor for some health conditions that I had. And I realized, I'm like, my goodness, this is so unique and so amazing. And patients were walking out of there, suffering from traumatic brain injuries and getting healing in, like really small windows of time. Some crazy things happen. And so I'm like, I want to practice chiropractic the way that this guy does. And so I went to chiropractic school. While I was in grad school is when I kind of was doing my whole butterfly effect, where I was like, I am going to start a company. I'm going to be courageous and I'm going to do this, because from a very young age, I've always had a very entrepreneurial spirit. But because I was so broken and so insecure and so like didn't have really great self-worth about myself, I kind of shadowed myself in underneath other people's umbrellas, celebrated their successes, was really excited, kind of went through them with the downturns, just all of that, but never really branched out on my own. And so in chiropractic school, I was really, driven by this, like, my gosh, like, this is an app that needs to be in the marketplace. This is a concept, cup of sugar, like I shared in the beginning, a way to connect with your neighbors over sharing and requesting food ingredients, is a philosophy that our grandparents and their grandparents above them had known, right? They know their neighbors, they like connect. And so, putting cup of sugar into the marketplace was such a huge, courageous undertaking. I have zero tech background, so to start a tech company with zero tech background is challenging. But we overcame a lot. We have connected with some amazing channel partners up in the San Francisco Bay Area. That's where chiropractic school was. And I came back to San Diego, moved back down here, and I've been mentoring under this doc for the last year and a half. And really getting to see hands-on, like, the power of this, and working with patients of my own, utilizing what he's taught me to tap into that body, to tap into the language that that body is speaking, and to be able to offer it assistance in the way that it needs assistance. Because truth is, and you can cut me off if I'm talking too long, but truth is a lot of times people feel very, very overwhelmed by all of this health stuff all around, and it's like, we're really good focusing in our lane, whatever that lane is, right? If it's building your business, you're really focused on, like for you, Aprille, like figuring out, webinar funnels and building out all this stuff for for clients and doing all of that. But somebody says you need to eat kale, and then someone else says no, kale is bad for you, and then you need to eat this, and so we get like all of these mixed messaging, right? We get do this, do that, do this, don't do this. Oh, what do I do? And your head wants to explode. And so really when people learn to listen to the own language, like the own language that's inside of them, they're able to really dispel all of this stuff out and really realize, hey, eating an avocado may be really great for you, but my body doesn't like it, and that's okay. Or taking this supplement while, having great collagen for good skin and all that kind of stuff is great for you. I have to take extra collagen because my body needs extra collagen, or I can take collagen because my body's allergic to collagen, and so on. And being able to kind of really peel back all of those layers and look at it from that standpoint.
Yeah, that's really good. So, how do you feel about, or what are your thoughts on? I don't remember what it's called. I don't think it's 23andMe, or maybe it is, but that DNA thing
Yeah,
you
there is
take and it tells you
yeah.
what your body works with. Is that right? Is that one of them? Like what your body
So
needs or whatever genes or something?
yeah, so 23andMe is like a DNA testing, so it can tell you like what heritage or origin you're from. If you've got X amount of European, or X amount of
Okay, so that's
Asian, like all
probably
these
not the
different
one I'm
things. Like
thinking about.
no, there are other ones that are coming to the market, like Everly is or Everwell, something like that, like where they do like a food testing to test you on what foods you can handle and what you can't handle. Those are great. I haven't done a lot of research into some of the newer ones that are coming out. I know that they're doing different ways of, blood work and this and that kind of stuff. The problem is there's a lot of foods that cross react with those things that you might be allergic to. So like those are things that you have to kind of peel apart. And I'm not trying to get into all the nitty gritty. It's just kind of understanding the basic principle or the basic premise that I want people to understand from this interview is that really when you learn to listen to what that body is saying or what your body is saying, you really are able to be so much more empowered in that. And some ways to do that really is to, and sorry, I don't know if this is the time to interject, but I do have a downloadable PDF that people can download for free that
Oh
gives them
yeah.
like a list of steps on how to actually listen to their body. But some of the ways that they can do that is really, it sounds cliche, but journaling, right? Like have a food journal and be like, okay, this is day one. I ate this for breakfast. I drank this. I did everything you put in your body. And then really start to like sit back and go, okay, 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, as it's moving through the digestion system, do I feel exhausted? Am I tired? Did I just feel like I have to drink another cup of coffee just to power through my day? Because
Mm,
a lot of times people just eat for the sake of eating to refuel their bodies, but they're not like thinking about how they feel
yeah,
after they're doing it.
that's good.
And another one, I'll give you an example, is sneezing. Sneezing non-allergy related. So if you don't have allergies and all of a sudden you're just hanging out in your room in the office and you sneeze, that's a telltale sign that the immune system is starting to kick up into gear. So there's something going on where it's like calling all the troops and it's going to where it needs to go. So that at that initial sneeze, one of the hacks that I do here at home is garlic. Garlic is a very great immune booster. And so I'll chop up a piece of raw garlic and let it sit out for about 5 minutes so it can oxidize. So that just makes it more, the body can break it down better. Let it sit for 5 minutes, take a spoonful, put it in my, mouth and just chug it down with some water. And, I kind of have been able to stay healthy for the most part doing those methods. But yeah.
Okay, and so yeah, this is what you teach, and as far as listening to your body and increasing your energy, and let's dive into that a little more. So because we are stressed, and you gave some pretty awesome tips, like even like eating, like I will eat and I will acknowledge, I'm tired. Yeah. When I eat, I get tired, but never like, well, why am I getting tired? Like, is it what I ate? Like, so that is like gold
Right.
in itself right there. So I love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so share with us, like, how do we increase our energy, especially in the climate we're in, and especially to make sure like we are outputting with our competition?
Okay, awesome. So okay, I'm going to give you a couple ways to
Okay.
increase energy and then be able to outperform and outwork your competition. So one of those ways is through like stress management, managing stress, because ideally, or not ideally, like what happens when the body's in this high stress state is it really shuts down all other processes in the body, and you can't even think clearly. So it will shut down the prefrontal cortex, which allows you to, plan and move and think about your next maneuver. But that shuts down in high levels of stress. So you kind of just freeze up and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Ways to de stress, calm yourself down, meditation. And I get that, it might be very cliche, but meditation is really great, even if it's a 3 to 5 minute practice in the morning. Okay. Movement, moving your body. So feelings can determine your movement, and movement can determine your feelings. And so those are interconnected in the way, like, hey, you wake up and God,
Wait,
I
that
don't feel
sounded
like
like a tweetable. Can
exercising.
you say that again? Movement. Say that. I'm sorry. Just say that again. I'm
So
writing
I
it
said,
down.
I said feelings like can dictate movement, and movement can dictate your feelings. So those are interconnected in the sense that, like, you wake up in the morning and you feel groggy or you feel tired, or you didn't sleep well, you didn't rest well the night before, and so you don't want to exercise. So you don't exercise and you just, go about your day and you're just like, blah. Versus getting up that morning and still feeling exhausted and groggy and whatever, but still even going for a 20-minute walk or doing 10 minutes of cardio or something just to kind of get that blood flowing, get, everything moving in your body. And then, like, it's amazing what you feel afterwards. So you move and you end up feeling better, you know? So those are two big ways to help um, de-stress or with stress management is movement and meditation. Um, I should I should go back and preface all of that with the fact that you should bookend your days. And what I mean by bookending your days is having your morning ritual, but also having an evening wind down. I think we hear so much about millionaire minds or millionaire mornings. I do this and I do this and I do this. But what do you do at night to really wind yourself down so that when you are sleeping, you're getting great quality sleep that then helps power you through that next day? So a lot of times we're just looking at the moment, in the moment. I have this meeting, I have this call, I have this, that we're not really focusing on long term, like getting ourselves healthy so that, hey, that next meeting, we're alert, we're focused, we're on fire, we're ready to take that call. And yeah. So stress, fueling your body with the right foods is the next one. And this is in no particular order, but I will mention my next one, and you'll be like, surprised. But fueling your body with the right foods, like, it's so easy to run to the gas station and grab like a breakfast, whatever sandwich, grab a cup of coffee while your car's filling up or whatever, right? It's so easy to do all of these quick meal preps because, like, the truth is because we don't have a lot of time, and we don't, like, our time and our focus is towards the business, and we want that to continue to build. So it's like all other stuff goes out the window. And I get it. Like, believe me, I get it. I've done the latter, and I'm doing the new stuff, and I'm like, whoa, night and day difference. But again, going back to that food journal and just learning to, like, eat like whole foods, like not a lot of processed foods, and foods that are really going to help you sustain your energy. But the third one, I feel like the third one is the one that entrepreneurs will try to run away from so hard, and that is to get quality sleep. Like, go to bed. It's not about burning the midnight oil. It's not about hustle, 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 hustle until you die. It is literally your body operates when it sleeps. Okay. There's a reason why we sleep. I hear so many people talking about sleep is for the dead, and I'll sleep when
Oh,
I'm, 80. I'll sleep when I sell the company. And it's like your body cannot operate optimally if it's not sleeping. And so, just to kind of give a little bit of physiology behind sleep and why it's so important. So, we have 5 stages of sleep. REM sleep is the one you hear about a lot. Like, oh, I got into REM sleep. A lot of people don't really understand what REM sleep is, but REM sleep is just the state at which your body is consolidating its memories. It's consolidating all the things that it learns throughout the day, and it's moving it to different parts of the brain for memory keeping. And that's when people have their dreams. Like, that's also a dream state. If you wake up remembering your dreams, that was like during REM sleep. Well, one stages 1, 2, 3, and 4 are what we call non-REM sleep, so non-rapid eye movement sleep. And that's a point at which your body, during those stages, your brain literally will shrink in size, and all the fluid that's around the brain is then able to kind of flush out all the metabolic waste. Okay, so all the like icky stuff that happens throughout the day, like where maybe neurons died off or like things happen and it needs to get that out there, that happens during non-REM sleep. So you need to get that flushing mechanism so that you can be clear-headed and wake up so clear the next morning. The other thing that happens during non-REM sleep is your body heals. So any injuries that you've experienced throughout the day, or like any, inflammation that was in the system, because I think a lot of people think injuries and they think external, like I cut myself or I got a bruise, but there's stuff internally that happens, to the vessels, to the fluids, to the organs, to like whatever. But all of that is healing during non-REM sleep. And so it's important to really truly get quality sleep as best as you can without having to use any sort of over the counter sleep aids or medications. Melatonin is a great one, but it's also something that people need to be careful of. It's not like a one size fits all. Again, no supplementation is a one size fits all for people, but yeah, sleep. So the 3 biggest things people can do to really increase energy production and outperform their competition is stress management, fueling their body with great foods, and getting quality sleep.
awesome. And so, yeah, I know I suffer from not getting much sleep because especially in 20, with the pandemic, and it's like I've had some
Absolutely.
3 a.m. nights because it's like it's the only time I get anything done.
I can
So
imagine. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I didn't know, like I knew you I didn't know all of this. Like I knew they said, "Oh yeah, sleep's important, water's important, and this is important, exercise is important."
Yeah.
But you don't know how important it really is. So I love how you
True.
broke that down because it's like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm denying myself all of that? Like, oh my gosh, like I need my sleep."
Right. So, and that's kind of where I like to teach on, is because it's like when you know, you're more in tune with like, oh, I need to get more of this versus just like go to sleep. It's like, okay, why? Like, yeah, yeah, makes a difference.
Let me make sure I got the steps down.
Mhm.
So the first step is just learning how to de-stress. And we do
Yeah,
that with meditation. If you're new to meditation, maybe just doing 3 to 5 minutes, or if you just don't have a lot of time, and that's daily. Is that right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then movement. So
Hmm.
I think you were so movement that could be, exercise or dancing or walking and just I guess just moving your body.
Yeah. So getting some sort of movement in, and that's not just getting up out of bed and walking into the kitchen, but some intentional movement where you are, like even a brisk walk, like trying to get your heart rate up a little bit, or some like 10 minutes of cardio. Like the thing, people get really like inundated with this idea that like if you're gonna, oh, if someone says to exercise, then that must be I have to spend hours at the gym and I have to do this, and I don't got time for that because I have a company to build and I have employees like counting on me and I have all this, so forget it, I'm throwing it out the window. And it's like, if we really pull it back and we break it into bite-sized pieces where somebody can go, oh, 5 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of walking, or 10 minutes of cardio or something, I can do that. That's not difficult. And so they're more inclined to do it, and you start building these healthier habits, and then you really go, wow, like it's amazing how much more intuitive you get with your own body once you start putting some of this stuff into practice. And then you'll, like Aprille, you were saying, you sometimes eat and you're like, wow, I did feel really tired after that. Like that's your body going, hey, there's a problem here, something's not right in here. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And then step two, which I think you said they're not any particular order, but the second thing we were
Yeah.
discussing is just fueling the body with the right foods. And I was going to ask you, so what are the right foods? But then you're like, yeah, but the right foods for this person isn't necessarily the right foods for another person. Like, how does one figure that out? Do you just, because I'm sure there's a list of right foods. You try it, and then how do you know? Like, how do you listen to your body? How do you know? Like, how do you know?
Exactly. And that can be the really challenging thing to overcome for somebody. That can be just the daunting task that they don't want to take the undertaking on. And so they won't do anything about it. And then they go back to those convenient type foods. And so the one thing that I will say, just because like with supplementation, food is the same way. All nutrition is not a one size fits all. There's no right diet. Like right now, you hear a lot in the world about keto and all these things. But really, 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 like the most simplest way that I can break it down is that keeping a food journal and then understanding like having the food journal about like, hey, this is what I ate and this is what I drank and this is what but also writing down how you felt after that. Like, hey, I ate, a piece of chicken and a salad and I felt like I was crashing. Well, there's a blood sugar imbalance there. And I understand that the average person is not going to understand that kind of stuff the way that I would understand it, but just being able to kind of see trends and then go, okay, I can take all this information. And I do remote like consultations with people. So like I can look at that food journal and go, okay, these things are what you were feeling. Let me help break it down. This is where we're at, and by being able to kind of tap in and find out what is really going on systematically. But
Yeah.
the food journal, I would say, is probably the easiest way to get a good handle. And even like understanding like, hey, I didn't feel really good, my stomach hurt after I ate that. Take it out of your diet. Your stomach is telling you something. Your body, I say the body whispers before it screams, and the screams are
Love
in the
that.
form of like pancreatic cancer in Steve Jobs case. So we got to listen to those whispers before it gets to those screams.
And I love the health area so much because I'm a cancer registrar. And so, we deal with cancer and everything that has to do with pathology and cancer. And so it's miraculous. I'm hearing another side of health, and it's just, oh my gosh, there's just so much to this. Things we won't even understand.
Right,
Like that's why they're making us do these things.
right,
I mean, it's
right.
fascinating. Like it's really fascinating. Yeah.
I it's so fascinating. I agree with you. I'm just like there's so much and
Yeah.
so much to understand, and it's like the body is like the greatest, creation to ever exist in the sense that there's so many different fields of it, right? Like there's an ology for everything, a cardiologist, an immunologist, blah, 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 like for everything. And those they're just looking at specific pieces, right? Like, oh,
Right.
the heart, the this, the that. And they still don't know it all. Like it's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
definitely fascinating.
And then we already kind of dived into like the third step, which is quality sleep, not just sleep, but quality sleep. So that's my homework.
Amen. Yes.
Okay, so let
Yes.
me okay. Devil's advocate, because it's like, but I need my 2 a.m. Okay, so
Yeah.
what about naps? So let's say an adult, and I don't know because I don't study sleep. So, but let's just, they say 8 hours.
Okay.
Could you take a 2 hour
Yes.
nap and then sleep, like stay up and sleep for 6 hours? Or does it have to be that 8 hours at night? Does the daylight and the moonlight, like, does that even matter?
So it actually, great question, April. It actually does matter.
Mm.
You should ideally, so the 5 stages of sleep, you go through 4 to 5 cycles of those like 90-minute blocks each night, right? So you'll go stage one all the way down to stage four, REM, back up, and so on. It's kind of like this, up and down kind of curvy thing. And so, like, if you're getting 2 hours like cut off, like you're only doing 6 hours versus eight, or like ideally a human being should be getting anywhere between 7 and 9. Like that's like the really good window. And so if you're getting 6 hours of sleep, you've shaved off an entire hour of like maybe that healing stage, or maybe that stage of which all the metabolic waste, the trash was being taken out. Maybe the trash guy came that week or that night and he only dumped half your can out and left the other half of the trash there. Like, I mean, we don't want that happening. Like, it's like, what? You came and you didn't even take all the trash out? So, so yes, you do need to get it all in kind of one big shot. If you are still kind of exhausted after like 7 hours of sleep, naps are okay if they're taken before noon. So, because then you don't want to mess up the whole cycle to try to get to bed the next or that next evening. So some of the ways that I really preach for people to get good sleep is like, so besides the 7 to 9 window, the other thing is it's like keeping a cooler temperature in your house. So 68 degrees Fahrenheit. I should learn the Celsius breakdown, but 68 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal temperature. So you can, kind of warm yourself up with a blanket if that's too chilly. But if you're sleeping in a warmer climate, like the body isn't like, kind of moving through its metabolic processes in like with too much heat. The other thing is too is avoid screen time or phone time or TV time or whatever an hour before bed. So I mentioned earlier about that evening wind down, like having time at the end of the day to really wind into your evening. If you want to lay in bed with a book or something like that, that's fine. If you do use your screen a lot, I use these blue blockers. So sometimes if I am checking email or writing back stuff at the end of the day, right before I go to bed, I'll put my blue blocker glasses on, and it blocks the blue lights from the screen, and it really helps that cycle of melatonin and serotonin production in the brain. The other thing is sleeping in pure darkness. Okay, so this one, some people are like, well, I have a little nightlight, or I have this. If you have a little nightlight, maybe you have to get up and use the bathroom during the night. That's okay, but maybe wearing one of those facial eye masks to make it dark, to just kind of close your eyes and have that darkness, because that really helps shut everything down. Um, and then I mean, this is something that I personally do. Not everybody has to do it, but I turn my phone on airplane mode so that I'm not getting ding 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 all night long. So yeah.
Well, my fellow entrepreneurs, I tried to get us to stay up till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning because that's the only time we get to work. But
No,
Dr. Sheehan said we need 8 hours, 7 to 9 hour block at night.
that's
So I
right.
tried.
Right.
Wow. Like everything
Right.
I've learned, like, is like, I'm, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to implement everything I just learned today because I did not know this, and see if, yeah, I'm going to try it for well, hopefully I indate it
Try
into
for a
my
week.
life and not just do 7 days. It's
Yes.
like, okay,
Yes.
I'm done. I'm going back to my old school.
Yes.
But I'm
Yeah.
going to start tonight. That's going to be hard. I'm going to start, and I'm going to do like a journal and see how I feel when I wake up. My body's aching. I just chalk that up to I'm getting older, but just really see if I notice a difference.
No.
I'm gonna see if she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm gonna do this because this
There you
is
go.
this
Put
is.
my stuff to the test.
I'm like doing nothing you told us to do, so I'm gonna have to like really like do a complete 180. And yeah, and then I
Well,
will
and
update
hey,
everybody.
yeah, I was gonna say, and if there's anything you have questions on, like you can share that food journal with me. Obviously, very private, but I can help you work through anything that you might have questions on with the food stuff.
Yeah, this
So,
is great. And so if anybody wants to learn more about, de-stressing or boosting up our energy, how do we get in contact with you? Like, how do we work with you?
so on my website, Dr. Brooke Sheehan, and that's DRBOB, or I guess it will be in the show notes, but Dr. Brooke Sheehan, you can go to, and all my contacts, all my links for social media and everywhere that I am on the interwebs is there. I also do, like if you have a lot of supplements that you're taking and you're not even sure if they're working, or you might be
Mm-hmm.
considering taking some new ones, I do like supplement strategy sessions with people to really kind of work through what is the right supplement plan for them. Because I know what it's like to go to a supplement store and you see all of the different colors and different, and it's like you're just looking for one ashwagandha supplement. And there's like 20 different ones. And you're like, who do I pick? How much is this? Da, da, da. What do I need to take? And a lot of times, what is actually written on the bottle, the suggested serving size, is not ideal for your body. And so you eat, like I said, you might need more, you might need less. And so really tapping into really creating a very unique plan that's right for you. So A, you stop wasting money on supplements that aren't doing anything for you. And B, you can actually take things that are right for you and you feel better. So that's all on the website. People can find it there. And I do
Good.
have that free downloadable PDF of the 5 keys to unlocking your greatest health. So
Perfect. Perfect. This has been so informative. Is there anything you want to leave my audience with before we depart?
I thank you so much, April, for the opportunity. One thing I do want to say is I mentioned earlier that energy is within and it's all around us. And not to end on a morbid note, but the only difference between a live body and a dead one is energy. So increase that energy, live your
Wow.
life to the fullest, and just keep pressing forward, but in the most amazing, elevated, optimized way.
Thank you so much. This has been fabulous. Um,
Absolutely.
I learned so much. I know my viewers have learned so much, and I really appreciate you. Yeah, coming to do this. This has been fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm like, yeah, so awesome.